Hey, it's MK, and I am here with another cut file layout for you guys today. And this week starts our Peartree cut file files. So this is the first one. It is a viewfinder that says the word snap inside. And I thought I would do a fun little layout about the crawdads that my husband kept catching while he was trying to fish. So this is one of the set of photos, and I say one of the sets. So I've got several of these photos. So this one, I thought I would do a little bit of something fun and, well, basically meaningless. So I have my bag of seaweed that I basically, from a bunch of different manufacturers, I tore apart and separated the sea creatures with the seaweed, and then, of course, the objects. I have 49 in market tickets and film strips, as well as this cool title that says just add water, but I don't end up using those pieces at all. I have this little sticker by Minte that says, look at this. I have this amazing anglerfish by Dusty Attic. Oh my stars, I can't wait. Also from Dusty Attic, I have these wave chipboard pieces. It's waves and bubbles. I have those in the shop right now. I've got some fibers going on here. I really want to use up this eyelash fiber, you guys. It grosses me out, but it's cool on the layout. I also have this little leftover fiber from my favorite fibers pack that was in the shop but is no longer. I also have these two 6x6 seaweed papers from Stampin' Up. I think I only have 2 more left of this 6x6 pack, and they are all used up. Yay! And then also from Some Assemblage Required, I have these little sprinkles. They're called the aquarium sprinkles. This is only a part of the set. I am not using all of them, but I pulled out all the little fishies and then the acrylic seaweed pieces. And then from my summer fun set, which is actually a set of ice cream cones, I pulled out my little tag there. From Close to My Heart, I've got this wood grain piece of paper. It is from 2023, but it was only available from what looks like April to June, and it was the mix-in kit. So it's got this really amazing burlap on one side, but I'm going to use this whitewashed wood. I just don't know what direction I want the wood to go in yet. And then from P13, I have this awesome fishnet paper that's from Beyond the Sea, paper number 6. And I was looking for a date, but this is what it looks like on the back side, which is pretty cool, actually, a doorway into the ocean. That's awesome. I need one of those. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the branding strip off of my Close to My Heart paper. Now, all of Close to My Heart's branding strips do have a design on the other side, so it's almost like an extra little mini piece of paper or some washi tape or whatever. I'm going to trim down my photos and see what is going on. My husband was getting so frustrated because every time he dropped a line, a crawdad would come up. So he, of course, started taking pictures as if it was a really cool fishing adventure. This was off the shore on June Lake. So, and it was also 2 years ago. Just to let you guys know, we were not able to make our June Lake trip this year because of Grandpa having to have back surgery, and he was worried that it was going to be too cold, seeing how the snow was still up there. I think in June, they opened the season up for hiking and skiing, which has never happened before. But he was afraid that it was going to be too cold for himself, and so he canceled his portion of the trip, and that's why we go up there, is to spend time with them. And then we thought we were going to make it to California, and my son's football schedule, it's been nuts, you guys. It really has. But just to let you know, this is off the shore from June Lake. Our cabin, where it is, it has a path that goes straight down to the shore of June Lake, and it's pretty cool. It's like our own little fishing spot. So anyways, but yeah, we weren't catching any fish, just crawdads. So I thought the word snap was perfect because he's got pincers, and I really wanted to play off of the word, basically. I know that it means snap as in snap a photo, but I just wanted to really play off the word and, do something fun because I have so many of these crawdad photos. It's just, he was like acting like he was I'm purposely fishing for this. I forgot to pull out all of my inks that I was going to ink this up, but I wanted it to be green to match the seaweed. So I pulled out a couple of the Shimmers ones. I think Hermit the Frog, Forget Me Not, and the other one. Don't Citron Me was the third spray that I used. And then I also had the lime one from the Color Splash. And that's the one that I used to make my splattering with, which is that one right there. But I forget the lime saying because they're all adorable and so super cute. It's the lime Color Splash one. If you just type in the word lime, it'll pop up in the search if you go looking for shimmers today. All right, you guys, so sit back, relax, and this is going to get long. I'm not going to lie. I did not want to cut out any portion of this except for when I stopped and visited with Janet, but I did not want to cut out anything on this because this little anglerfish is so stinking cute. I just couldn't not put him on a layout. He is adorable, and he is 3D, so he is layered up with 3 layers of chipboard, which isn't very thick. When I say that he's 3D, you don't have to 3D him up. The way that he is printed right now, you can color him and leave him just as a single layer. But with all of his little layers added up, it just makes it even more amazing. So I'm taking an off-white because I didn't think that he brushed his teeth. I wanted to color in his eyes and his teeth and get that started and going just to make sure that it was dry because these are paint markers. I wanted to make sure that they were dry before in case I needed to add a second coat and make them whiter. But I do end up liking the way it is. And then I'm pulling colors based off of my crawdads. My crawdads were orange and blue and green and aqua. They just had a lot of color on them. And so that is where I pulled out my colors for my anglerfish. Now, he is going to be on the brighter side because these markers, I haven't really experienced a whole lot of getting these markers to blend. Like I haven't played around with that a lot. So I just thought, you know what, I'll color and he'll be fine if, he is the star of the show and the ugly little crawdads aren't. Actually, they were super cool crawdads. I couldn't get my blue marker to work really well, so I had to figure out how else to color the ink on, but I was fighting with it for a little bit. When I fight with them like this, I usually just take them to the sink and clean out the nib. The nib pops out. I usually just clean out the nib and everything is just fine, but this one, I was being lazy and I was not going to go and wash out the nib because I really wanted to get him colored. And B, I was just being stubborn and visiting with Janet. So that's that. Yeah. So there's the green that I'm going to add, and then I'm going to add this aqua that looks like it's similar. It's the next 2 steps down from the green. So I'm going to add him in and then do a little bit of speckling on top of my other green to kind of make it look like it's blended in and not so green. I don't know if it even shows up. I'm not really sure. The blue was too blue, so I decided to ink it with whatever was on my black ink sponge. And then I'm going to take this charcoal color and go ahead and paint the under, what is supposed to be the first layer, but you don't end up actually seeing it. I thought maybe if you did see it per se, then it was going to, be a kind of a cool effect. If by chance I did not glue something straight, is kind of where I was going with that. I love his little light bulb. Oh my gosh, it is so stinking cute, you guys. Just adorable. Oh, the whole time I was like, oh, this is so cute. So I didn't want the light bulb to be like super, super bright. And then, of course, I thought the whole thing was too bright. So again, the same black ink sponge with whatever was on it, a gray, a black, I have no idea. And I went ahead and just inked up the whole layer, the bottom layer, before I attached everything. And that is my angler fish. Oh, my stars. Yes, I need more of him. He is adorable. I just want to make all of those and hang them around my room. Seriously, they're adorable. Okay, so these waves and dots, I am going to actually create the waves into seaweed. So I'm going to go ahead and use this lime green to match my snap spray cut file. And just take the lime green, and then I'm going to take a darker green and outline one of the sides just to give them a little bit more of dimension. It actually just looks like I made a mistake, but it's okay. I'm using a different blue to kind of match my seaweed paper behind my photos for my bubbles. But I thought it was cool to have these little seaweed pieces and then the bubbles from the fish and sea creatures or ocean or water creatures underneath them. So anyways, that was my thought process. Okay, so now we're finally getting to the layout. I have to tell you guys, and I think I've already told you guys this before, but I do love like making the embellishments my own. Does that make sense? Like I love spending the time coloring the pieces and making them match for me. I love spending the time and fussy cutting around a cut file. I love doing that. Is it a lot of work? Yes. This layout took me 3 hours with all that coloring to put together. I know that because I had to import the entire video into the editor. And it took half a day. No, it didn't, but I'm just saying it took quite a while to get into the editor, and I knew that was, something long. And then when I brought it down in to edit it, I was like, oh my gosh, this was almost 3 hours. Wow. I had no idea, in all honesty, other than the fact that I was visiting with Janet and trying to go to bed at the same time. So yeah, because it was way past my bedtime by the time that I was done with this specific layout, and then of course visiting a little bit more with Janet. So yeah, it was just something. All right, so I decided to give my P13 little corner piece some grass, and I wanted it to look like the background of the photos. It was a very tall grass next to the what's it called? Next to the lake. And so I just basically wanted to mimic that as well and use up the fibers because I'm getting bored with what is in my stash and I feel like I need to use it. So I really like that effect. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it and add this piece. Now I'm not going to glue the fibers down just yet because I don't know if I want to tuck things down into the corner or into that angle. So here is the original way that I wanted to put my photos, and then I wanted truth be told, I really didn't have a plan for my little angler. In all honesty, I had no idea what I was going to do or anything. I just knew that he's adorable. That's all I knew. He's adorable, and I'm stubborn. So he's going to make it on the layout because he's adorable and he needs to be on the layout. That's my only excuse. Yeah, I had to rearrange my photos just a little bit to make him fit. And then I went through my little bag of seaweed and I was basically looking for sticks and things because there isn't any seaweed. There's moss and a seaweed algae type. I don't even know if algae is the right word. So there are plants that grow in the lake water. Is that lakeweed? I don't know. But I didn't want seaweed. I didn't want the pinks and the oranges and the purples, and I didn't want coral. I just wanted grass. And so I picked out all of the pieces that looked like that. So here is my first go around or my first test try with all the elements that I picked out. It's just, okay, what do I have in my mind? Where does everything lie? I really liked the addition of the fish because it's almost like the fish are like right there, but they're teasing my husband. So I definitely wanted to put that in there. As soon as he saw this layout, he was like, no doubt, I swear all those fish were standing right there just laughing at me. I do have to say the next day, they were catching fish and we got a couple good pictures. Nothing save-worthy or cook-worthy, but it was still fun. But almost 3 days of crawdad fishing. It was great. It was awesome. And when my husband first pulled one out, my son, who had never seen one of those, was like, "What? You got a lobster?" So of course I got a phone call that that dad got a lobster, and I'm just like, in a lake? Like, really? What? And then it dawned on me that, he's never seen a crawdad, so he didn't know that it's not a lobster. And then of course my daughter goes, "That's not big enough to be a lobster. It's a shrimp." Oh, so it was great. So we ran down, and of course, they were already like taking pictures of it and whatnot, and it was just hilarious. I had to laugh. All right, so test run number 2. I decided to put all of my photos over on the left side, kind of at a wonky straight up line, and bring the cut file down with my larger, because I didn't want the 2 large elements to compete with each other. I didn't want to have a huge element up at the top and a huge element down below, because then where do you go look? So I figured if I joined the two large elements together, then it wouldn't be a competition and everybody would see everything. Everybody would see that, an anglerfish with all his sharp teeth, snap. Yes, that makes sense. And then you go straight to the claws of the crawdads. Also, too, to enhance my grass, I just had an epiphany of, hey, let's add this eyelash twine because there's green mixed with the brown. And I really do like now how that looks. I really was like, wow, that's really cool. And look at how much I used up. So I did 2 rows of the eyelash twine. And then I was going to put it around. I was going to try to enhance this cut file for a bit. I was kind of stressing a little bit, not a lot, to the point where I wanted to give up or not use the cut file at all. But the cut file in itself is a bit too big. You kind of have to cut it this big because of the fact that the word snap won't cut out really well if you don't. But to be honest, I think it's supposed to be cut at 11 and a half by 11 and a half. And then you use the squares around as like each individual, like for pictures or embellishments or something like that. I don't think it was meant to be shrunk down, to be honest. But I am very much more happy with the 2 large pieces being put together. And then, of course, that large coral kind of helps tuck that snap viewfinder in. I just feel like it meshes better now than it did. I'm going to go ahead and adhere everything down. I left this part in just because I, wanted a super long video today and to see how long I could talk for. That's why I did that. No, I actually did this because I didn't do another dry run and show you guys what it's going to look like with the new angle of the or the new placement of the viewfinder. So that's why I left this in, because now not a lot of things are going to fit the way that they were or the way that they are. I do love these little grassy wheat seaweed pieces that came in the 49 and Market. It was like Shipwrecked set or something like that. They helped out a lot, especially coming out of my fiber made grass. So I really do like the addition of the chipboard and the laser pieces and all of that stuff. It just goes really, really well together. So I like it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and keep gluing on. Whew. I ran out of stuff to say, you guys. I know. Isn't that a miracle? I really liked that. Look at this chipboard sticker by Minte. That was absolutely perfect because, like I said, this was his first catch, and it was just hilarious. Oh my gosh, the kids were freaking out. It was great, you guys. Just great. So I do use liquid glue to put my chipboard pieces down just because of the fact that they are on the heavy side. So I want to make sure that they're not going to fall down. Well, and also they're super skinny. So I don't really know exactly how else I would have glued them down. They do make that tape runner that's in dots. And when you run it across, the dots only stay where you want it to. And then everything else, if it didn't have anything to adhere to it, would stay on the runner itself. So I thought that was pretty cool, but I don't own one of those. But I have seen some of those if you don't like liquid glue. I just don't know if they are, I just don't know if they, what was I going to say? If they're strong enough to hold the chipboard down, because like I said, chipboard's dimensional, to be honest, and over time it gets heavy. It really does. So I decided to put the rest of that eyelash ribbon, twine, whatever you want to call it, behind my anglerfish, just to give him a little bit more something to rest on, and I get to use it all up. I was just done hoarding onto it. It got stuck on everything. There was no proper way to wind it up. I mean, it was a hot mess. Janet keeps hers in little baggies, and they're nice and neat and contained. And of course, I have a million baggies, so why haven't I done that? I don't know. But she shows me after I'm done using all of mine up, but it's quite all right. Got a little bit of glue where I didn't want it to on my white snap. Now I left the white snap because I have white in his teeth. I have white at the look at this. And so I wanted a third white. Well, I have white in his eye too, but yeah, that doesn't count. It doesn't. It's his teeth. Everybody sees his teeth first. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I had a third element of white, even though they are super close to each other. It would be okay. The last thing I'm going to do is sprinkle all of my little laughing fish, because they are laughing at my husband. Yes, they are. It was great. You should have seen the fish that we pulled out of June Lake. They were oh my gosh, they were pretty. I'm not going to lie. They were very pretty fish. So, and I think that is it for my layout. Oh no, I forgot the dot for my exclamation point. It was missing. There we go. There we go. And I forgot to ink my inner pieces. They were kind of sticking out to me. All right, you guys, that is it for today. This is my fun, silly layout that I just had to have. Every now and then I have to have one of these in my layout. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't go with the story. It doesn't do anything, but I do love playing with elements like this. I do love having a fun layout that, kind of makes people stop and ask questions. It really does. And so I love doing layouts like this. I had so much fun putting the fish together, coloring my pieces, bringing it all together and making it work. Some of the elements make sense. All the other elements are like, what? But it's okay. I absolutely just love how it turned out. I really did. It's bright and fun. All right. Don't forget to check out the 2 links down below for 31 Days of Cut Files. Also, don't forget to check out Janet Fritz's channel to see what she is doing with her viewfinder today. Thanks, and I'll check y'all later. Bye.